Alright, hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play Painted Live. We finally made it back to Sunday evening. How's it going, everybody? And I hope you are having a good Sunday evening, because here we go with another one of these. Alright, so we have drawn up our mana, and we've tapped our lands, and I don't like card games. It's true. I don't like card games. When Magic, this is how old I am. Magic the Gathering came out when I was playing 40K. True story, kids. Magic the Gathering came out while I was playing 40K, and I remember our friend in our gaming group, who was the most annoying one, I should point out, just the most annoying person in our gaming group, brought it up and brought a set of Magic the Gathering and taught us the rules. And I said, I can't, do I just prime the cards and paint the cards? Like, what is this? Why would I play this? Right? Well, you're kind of wizards, and the wizards fight each other and summon monsters to do damage, and I couldn't get into it. It's true. I could not get into card games. And so Magic the Gathering, and notably the fact that the most annoying person in our gaming group brought us Magic the Gathering, kind of turned us off to Magic the Gathering hold on one sec. Yeah, so the person in our group being so annoying and introducing us to Magic the Gathering just kind of killed any interest I may have had in card games. But again, I didn't really like playing. I didn't even like playing D&D without minis at that time, right? And that was when I was at peak dork, right? I was peak dorkdom, right? That was the highlight. And you could have gotten me to play just about any garbage you could think of. But yeah, I couldn't get into that card game, and for years and years and years, I stayed away from card games, just not interested in card games. And it wasn't until like much later in life, right? Like I said, maybe another 15 plus years later, I would play some smaller card games just with friends, just to kind of pass the time, right? So you might play, I don't even know if you would count these as card games, but stuff like Love Letter, right? Stuff like, I forget the other ones, but there was like Love Letter, there was like, and then there was Tentacle Bento, right? That game that pissed everybody off when that game came out. Actually, it's a really fun game, and frankly, it's one of the most popular games amongst the female gamers that I have gamed with. Like, some of their all-time favorites is Tentacle Bento. So we used to play that game a lot. And then, most recently for me, Way of the Fighter came out. All right, so Way of the Fighter came out, and I, for a company that we won't really talk about too much, but they put out the Kickstarter for it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in another card game, blah, blah, blah. There's minis. Okay, I'm in, right? So I backed the game because it had minis. And I'm like, you know what? Even if the game sucks, at least we have cool minis to paint. And did not know that the cool minis would take 3 years to come in after the game came out. And during that time when the game came in, I learned the game. The person who taught me the game was actually the designer of the game, which was pretty cool, kind of local to us here. I got him to autograph a copy of the rule book that I have, so that's cool. And yeah, and he taught me the game. And at the time, I didn't think that the game was, it was okay. Like, it was a fun, like, it did feel like a fighting game at least, but I wasn't, I was just still kind of like, put it away. I'll wait for the minis to come out. It's really not that interested. And then, like I said, 3 years later, the minis came out. Finally. In resin. I don't like resin. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna beat around the bush with that. Not liking resin. But Like, just the aesthetic of this miniature right here, that is worth it. That is an awesome aesthetic. So tonight we're going to paint some of these. Hey, what's up, Sean? We are going to paint some of these Way of the Fighter minis, and we're going to talk about the game a little bit because we did a little bit of playing today. I played with Jason, and we tried out the rules, and we got, it was our first time out, and I count it as my first time out, even though I learned the game several years ago. I basically had to refresh all of everything that I learned, and playing it again, we still got stuff wrong, and we got some pretty important stuff wrong, and the stuff that we got wrong today was actually actually kind of affects the pace of the game, and we were playing the game at maybe like a third of the speed because we were getting the rules wrong. So it was a very slow, kind of grindy game the way we were playing it. But before I started the stream tonight, I was just looking at the rules again. I read the rule book cover to cover again, and made all those discoveries. Like, oh my God, you can, this game. We thought that one of the most important things. Well, we messed up two really important things. Okay, so one of the things is when you're playing the game, you have these like power dice, right? And the power dice are actually on your health bar. So as you take damage, your character starts to power up, right? And we were taking the dice that you get from when you get hit, we were putting them in the burnout pile rather than the energized pile, which was a huge mistake, right? Because the way it's supposed to do is it's supposed to, if you take a bunch of hits one turn, in the following turn, you're going to have a big pool of dice to draw from. And dice are a resource in this game, and they help you to gain initiative and pull off combinations and moves. So the fact that we were putting them in the burnout pile, which is basically like a discard pile, was really screwing our ability to do the cool combos. The other thing that we were screwing up was I did not know that you can keep throwing combos. You can chain combos without needing the specific rules for chaining and for linking, right? As long as you get your hits off, you can, like a burning meter. As long as you land a hit, you have the opportunity to throw another hit, and you can. It's kind of like a press your luck system where you're starting to burn your resource, and every time you add another move to your combo, your target number basically goes up. Basically, when you do your move, there's like an initiative value, and you won by that initiative value. And when you win, you hit, and when you hit, then you are allowed to combo another move in, but the target roll for that hit is now going to be based on the previous hit. So it scales up and up and up and up, right? So it makes it harder for you to land these multiple hit combos. And it also means that if you start off with a very high initiative on your first hit, it's going to be very hard for you to follow that up with another move. So we were getting those two rules wrong, and those two rules are absolutely critical, and they allow you to, with those rules in play, now you have a much faster game. Now you have a much more dynamic game where, okay, I'm taking damage this turn, but you know what? I'm going to have a whole pool of energy the next turn, and I'm going to be able to throw some crazy combos in the following turn, right? So, yeah, it's a card game, but it also, because it's thematically a fighting game, you think about what kind of combos you want to throw. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this move to reverse our positions. Then I'm going to do, a really swift kick, and then I'm going to follow that up with, with a punch and uppercut, and then I'm going to throw a fireball, right? That's kind of like an example of what you might do. And you're throwing dice, and you're throwing resource and energy at this every time you do it, and it just makes for it actually ends up being a way faster game, and very fun, and high risk, high reward type thing. And then the number of fighters you have, there are 22 available fighters in the game, you get a lot of really cool and interesting playstyles. So today what we did was I went into the shop. I went into Comic Quest, and they helped me out, like picking out. They helped me pick out like card sleeve accessories, right? So I basically put together a binder for all the cards, because the game is like a shit ton of cards, right? And the interesting thing too about Way of the Fighter, and it's kind of the joke why in the description I put "what is dead may never die," is because it's a dead game in that they're not likely ever going to put anything else out content wise for this game, but that's also a good thing because it's complete. It's a complete game. It's 22 fighters and just hundreds of different moves and combinations. So you already have your replay value well built into the game. The other thing that is really interesting that we have not tried yet is that there's a 2v2 tag team mode, which sounds incredibly fun, right? So you can you play 4 players, and 2 guys are on one team and 2 players are on another team, and you tag in and out just like a regular game of Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that, right? Where you have a tag out system. So yeah, I mean, and we're gonna actually start painting in earnest here. But yeah, let's just sum it up that way. That I was very at the end of the day very impressed with the game, and looking forward to getting it out on the table. I think it's going to be ideal for for those fast situations, right? You can get it to a point where you're playing it kind of like Aristea, right? Where it's real quick. And then the way I arranged the cards in my binder, that's going to help as well. So I arranged the cards in the binder to help you build your deck faster. So when you pick a character, you get all of their regular moves, and then there are different styles that you can choose from like hundreds of generic moves, basically. Right? So yeah, Way of the Fighter. Very cool game. I'm just going to put it to you that way. Very, very cool game. And I'm looking forward to playing it again. And, it's just ideal for, like I said, portable situations, where you're looking for quick games. You could play this at GameCraft Brew. You could play it, this could be a lunch pick up and play game that I bring down, if you've got you got a couple hours to burn. Because the game, I think once you learn the game and you understand it, it's probably only going to take you, it's probably only going to take, I would think a normal game would only take about 30 minutes, which is awesome. Right? Normal game should take about 30 minutes. Once both players kind of know what they're doing, I would recommend, since as far as I know, I'm the only person I know that has a complete copy of the game, that you kind of main some, pick your fighters to main. But if, let's say, you wanted to get into the game, what you could very well do, because it's still for sale, you can buy one of the starter sets. And I would say, first, let's say you were gaming with me and you wanted to, have your own copy, even buy your own miniatures. What you could do, what I would recommend doing, is you play a couple games with me, pick the ones some fighters that you like, and that will determine, you probably just want to buy one starter box, right? And you pick the starter box that has the most fighters that you like in it. And then, if you want to buy an expansion, you can buy an expansion as well. And then you just buy the miniatures for the minis that for the fighters that you want to run or that you want to paint. You could very well buy all of it. You could buy the whole thing. It's going to cost you a lot though, because these are resin minis. So that's going to run you a lot. The Kickstarter price that we got for this was actually extremely low. So at least, even though I had to wait 3 years, at least I saved a whole bunch of money and got the entire set, right? But yeah, you could still buy all of these. The one thing is, this model is so damn cool. I think she's already sold out, unfortunately. But all the other models you should be able to buy. I think her and Ranveer are the two that are sold out, which is weird. I don't know why Ranveer is that. Ranveer is he's like a Sikh looking dude. So I'm not really sure why he's sold out. I know why Kassi's sold out, because the aesthetic on that model is amazing. Right? I would buy a second one if I could. But yeah. But you could probably find, I'm wondering if, maybe you could find a Kickstarter on eBay for probably cheap. This, like I said, the game was DOA because it showed up and everyone was waiting for minis or waiting for other stuff and no one cared. And also the company that I'm still not naming, so you guys should know what company it is. The company did very, very little to promote it, which is a shame, because like I said, it's a fun game. I think it's a fairly well designed game. I don't think it's a perfect game. I think there's probably some extra weight that you could trim off of it to make it a little more of a streamlined game. I personally, and again, take this from somebody who doesn't play card games, but I personally think there are too many moves in the game. But, this was designed by somebody who really, really plays a lot of card games. So I guess they know that you're going to need a lot of moves. You're going to need, hey, what's up, Placebo Pete? Yeah, you're gonna want, you're gonna want a fair bit of moves and a fair bit of variety and good replay. Now, like I said, what's interesting is you build your fighter's deck every game, so you can, so you do have a lot of customization, and depending on who you're going up against, who the other player picked as a fighter, if you know what that other fighter is capable of, then, and your own cards very well, then yeah, it does stand to reason that you can, that there's good counterplay in the game. Hey, what's up, Nelson? But yeah, but so again, this is going to be one of those nice little fun, little portable mini games that you just break out and you can enjoy with a lot of people, right? 2v2 tag team mode sounds amazing. And I'm going to paint eyes on stream again. Just the worst thing to paint on stream. Absolutely hate painting eyes on stream, especially tiny eyes buried under hats. Right? Very difficult to do tiny eyes. Are you talking about eBay, Sean? But yeah, if you're looking to paint it, if you're looking to paint the minis, then by all means have at it. If you're not sure and you want to try out the game, obviously just hit me up and we can play the game. This character seems to be pretty cool too. In the game, she's the only character in the game that can hit a knocked down character, which is extremely powerful, right? Because usually when you knock your opponent down, that's the end of your combo string. But not so much this Kasi lady here. She's gonna make you pay. She puts you on the ground and she'll make you pay for it. This model here, Aurelia, she's a capoeira type fighter, so a lot of dance moves. And she has a lot of knockdown moves as well. I forget exactly what her special ability is. I think she gets an additional move when she does a strike or something like that. So she's a little more mobile. Right. This guy here, Deshawn, he's just kind of a heavy hitting guy. He can actually instead of changing his stance, he can go into a mode where he just does +1 damage on his strikes. Deshawn, right? So you got Deshawn. You got this guy, Ferris, who's like a French capoeira, a parkour guy. So he like bounces around, I guess. Parkour. They have a lot on eBay. I wonder if anyone's selling the set, like their Kickstarter, with the minis that they got. Because I think most people are going to be like, oh, this took forever to get here, and then they're just not going to paint their minis or play it. Right? It took forever. Which I don't blame them, right? And they're just going to try to recoup their money on the Kickstarter. Maybe you could find something like that. That would be pretty dope. But in order to have gotten their minis, they would have had to spend a little bit extra, because in order to get your minis shipped to you, you have to buy something new in the Soda Pop store, and then they look up your account and they're like, oh, we owe you shit. And then they send it to you. I still got a bunch of Relic Knights stuff that they owe me. But I haven't bought anything recently, so they may not be sending me anything for a little while here. This guy Kublai is awesome. He's basically like a Zangief type. But he's actually East Indian, but he looks like a cross between Zangief and T-Hawk. And so he has a lot of throws. He actually is not allowed to jump. He can't do any jump moves in the game, but he also reduces the damage he takes each turn by 1. And then he also, I think anytime he gets hit too, if he takes damage, he can energize. So he's your typical, like, big tanky guy. Did we ever get Relic Knights? Yeah. We did. we got a few things. I don't remember exactly what you got, but I um uh we'll have to figure out what you got. I got very little. I got in this last one I got a couple of promo figs and what's it called? A couple of promo figs which were um, Magnus, and then I got 2 pit crew which were promo figs, and I got Hell's Bells, but I don't remember. I got some Hell's Bells, but I only got a set of 3 Hell's Bells, which I think is wrong. I think I thought we ordered 2 sets of Hell's Bells, but I don't know. We'll have to remember, yeah, what you ordered. But that's all that came in. Okay, so you got. Well, I'll remember that because I got no doctrine. Right? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I got no doctrine in my set. So if you got that doctrine set, then I'll easily be able to identify that when that comes in. But yeah. No, look gooey. Oh man, sometimes the tip just stunts to just do that. Ay ay ay. Definitely looks like Zangief and T-Hawk, right? What happened? Did I get it? Sometimes you hit the eye and you can't tell that you did it. Wait a minute. Okay. Brand new white eye. Start over. Sometimes you just don't know if you got it. There we go, we got it. There we go, we got it. Okay. I want to buy this, but too bad no one's selling the minis. Well, yeah, you can buy the minis on Soda Pop's site, but they're like $15 a piece because they're resin minis. So you do the math. If you want all 22 fighters, it's going to cost you $330. But I don't think you'll want all 22 fighters, right? You're just gonna. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're probably just gonna want the ones that you think you're gonna play, or the ones that you really like the look of. Right? Maybe you're like, oh, I really only want, Blazing Soul Candy and Albertus or something like that, right? So you can just buy those minis. Speaking of which, this is Albertus, and he's kind of weird looking. And strong here and here. Why is my waist so tight? He has the tiniest waist for a buff, dude. Look at that. I have a tiny waist. You need the whole set. Well, you could buy the whole set. It's just only gonna. It just cost you $330 to buy each one individually. But yeah, I was thinking like maybe you could find on eBay someone just selling, somebody that collected their minis, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna at least try to turn a profit or make my money back. The other thing for you, Nelson, is you can also just say, no, I'm not going to buy any of it because Octave already has it all. And we'll just play when we play. Right? And you're going to be like, I'm going to main this character. See, I think what would eventually would happen, if you really got into the game, you might just go, oh, I'm just going to main this character, and then you just end up buying the mini so that you can have your own your own mini when you play. Look at this I have a tiny head. Like this guy's head is smaller than like the smaller like the young girl miniatures. There's a couple of like smaller girls in this game too. The weird thing is on the descriptions the the scaling is way off, right? This guy is supposed to be 7'3" and Ferris here is supposed to be like 5'7" or 5'6" even. So this guy, I think they scaled him down because they all have to fit on a smaller base. Which actually, that's not even true either, because base size does not matter at all in this game. Did I get her eyes? I did not get her eyes yet. This character is supposed to have like a whole voodoo face mask, and that's going to be impossible for me to paint in. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here, because I cannot paint in a full voodoo face mask. And I still want the model to look super duper cool. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Tag team mode is kind of cool too, because you have all 4 players. There are only 2 fighters on the board at a time, but if you're playing a fighter who is resting, like you still have things that you are supposed to be doing during the turn, like helping your guy power up, and you are actually, if you're the player that's on the bench, you actually get to decide when you tag in. And the coolest part about it is you tag in off of a combo, just like a regular Capcom game, right? So the fighter that's in there starts a combo, and you chain off of his combo to get into the fight. And if you successfully like land your move, then you're now in the fight. That's how tag-ins work. But let's say you attempted a tag in and it did not happen, right? The other team landed a hit and canceled your combo. That means that at the end of the turn, you automatically tag in. Which is kind of cool. You're just going to play, yeah, just play, yeah. That's what I would do, right? It's the reason why I don't have to buy Defiance. Because I know Chris and Jose already have copies of Defiance. I don't need Defiance. I also don't need, Mythic Battles, because Nelson has a copy of Mythic Battles. Even though I do have a copy of Mythic Battles, but I don't need it. Oh, also like the Monolith, the Batman Monolith game. No one needs a copy of the Batman Monolith game because I have it and also Jason has it. Right? So as long as somebody in your gaming group has it, you're good to go. Yeah, I don't know if I can do. Yeah, I did black eyeshadow on her. That's about all I can do. No. Let's get Deshawn into the fight. I am Deshawn. Deshawn's awesome. He actually is like pretty good. He's just like a brutal like damage dealer type. It did not do his eyes any justice. Hold on. Wow. I lost his eyes. Hold on. I lost them. And here's how you get them back, though. Just one little dot here. Whoa. Dot went too long. Little dot here. Okay, so that one is correct. This one is not. Then we're just going to work on skin tonight, because that's going to be the longest part. We're not going to, I don't think I'm going to complete any of these models. Okay, so that's Deshawn. Let's continue working on her, because she's the best model. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So now let's, so what I'm going to do then, so what I typically do now, we do a little bit of pink. Right? This model is so cool. I could use this as a special like voodoo Colette alt. Right? I could see myself doing that, just putting her on the board in a game of Malfa and go, that's my Colette. Right? I was gonna do that with Zatanna, but it's like impossible to get a Zatanna mini right now. And I way overshot the lips on that because you have a tiny little head. So I'll clean that up. And then same with her. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, it's true. Yeah, I could do black lipstick, or I could even do like purple. Would be kind of cool. So you could kind of see the pink there. I'm going to trim this down with some fair shadow. If I can find my fair shadow. Maybe golden skin might actually work a little bit nicer in this case. Golden skin. Or tanned highlight's kind of nice too. Let's do tanned highlight. Right, she's supposed to be like Cajun, so she's gonna be she's supposed to be a little more caramel in her complexion. But I'll keep her a little more fair. Just because I really want the skin to stand out a little bit more, because the rest of her outfit is basically all black and white. Okay. And painting under a hat sucks. You can't even barely. Her eyes are so tiny. Why is there a super and a turbo version? Well, they're basically they're both starter sets. The only difference between them is the 5 starters you get in each set. And really the only reasons why you would ever want both starter sets, or right, if you want all 10 of those fighters, or if you want the ability to play tag team mode, right? Because you need tag team mode. You take the board from each of those starters, and then you flip them over, and then there's a tag team mode on the back, and you place them end to end, and that is your tag team board. So yeah. So if you're looking, I would look at which of those 2 starters looks cooler to you. Like which fighters you think you're going to play. And then just buy one. And Jason and I spent about a couple of hours this afternoon arranging, before we learned how to play, we spent all this time arranging all the general moves and the deck and everything, so that we can set up and play games faster in the future. Like I said, I picked up a binder and those card binder, those little binder pages that you drop your cards in, and that's going to make it much faster to build your fighter's deck when you play. Because you just go, okay, pick a page that you want, right, and then just pull 2 moves from that page. All right, I want Aurelia to stay a little darker, so I'm not going to. What I'm going to do with Aurelia is I'm going to wash her skin after I'm done. Let me block out the areas around her eyes. And then we'll wash this skin with like a Caspian color, so that Cool. Okay. I'm just going to shape the eyes so that they're the same size and the same shape. There you go. Got very high cheekbones. Right? And you can do like makeup and that kind of stuff. She should actually have makeup around her eyes because she is a dancer. She's going to be very flashy. It's really cool. There's a belly dancer character too named Aya, which she has a cool ability where she can, when she reveals an action, she can change her stance. It's a nice little mechanic, which is kind of what you can do with that is like you can force people to miss. All right. Who else needs a little help here? This guy needs a little help. All right. His arms look a little burly from... Right? There we go. Yeah, this is another one of those really just fun little portable games that you can break out. It has cool looking minis. I do want a 3D board made, so I'm going to talk to Gabe about that. See if he can make me a 3D board. Not an urgent thing, but I think that would be a lot of fun to get a... Oh, and while I get the skin out, actually, the model I played today, Victoria, who's one of my favorite models, my favorite fighters to play, I don't really like the skin I did for her, so I'm going to actually clean it up with some of this, right? So let's get all this down. Yeah, let me get Victoria out real quick so you guys can see. Like, cool, it's a really cool miniature, but the skin looked okay while I was painting it, and then after I sealed it, now it looks a little too chalky and a little blotchy. So let's fix that. Okay. I guess I gotta clean up Albertus here, which is a really stupid name. Albertus might be the guy that I clown, and I bet you he's a pretty damn good fighter though, because he's like an ancient warrior like. I wish there was like a South Pacific style island fighter, like a guy that like would do the haka, right? That would be kind of cool. All right. Hey, what's up, Jason? All right. Yeah, let me. Just wasn't happy with. What I do with that mini? Oh, then hold on. Guess I put it away for a minute. Also, these are resin minis, so do not leave them in your car for extended periods of time, as they will start to crumple. All right. So, Jason, I just went over a couple of the things that we did wrong during our game, and they're super important things that make the game way faster and way better, right? So there were two big things that we did wrong. Um, I think I mentioned it in our chat, but yeah, basically, um, the first one is when you take damage, damage goes in the dice go in the energized pool. So that was important. Right? So we had all these dice in our burnout pile going, what how do you even, right? So you do that. Oh yeah. Yep. That is true, Nelson. Um, so yeah, so that was one thing, right? That dice go in the um, they go in the energized pool, not the burnout pool. And the other thing is you can combo technically off any hit. You can combo off any hit, and you don't need. It does not need to say link or chain on it, right? As long as you hit, you can say, okay, I landed a strike on you. I'm going to try another strike, or I'm going to try a blast, or something like that. And the rules still apply, right? You play the card up, and then you play the card, and then you try to roll for your initiative. And without the differences with Link allows you to pull off your second move, even if your first move did not hit. Right. The only requirement is that the first move, that the action for the first move was not interrupted. Right. So as long as you successfully played something that said link whatever, you can still do what you linked, as long as your action, even if your action didn't land, you just can't have taken damage. So what that allows us to do is it actually allows you a lot more opportunities to throw combos at people, and for the game to go a lot faster as a result. And you also need to understand that in order to play multiplayer, because that's how you tag in, which is probably the most interesting thing that I learned, is that if you're the player on the bench, one of your commands, so when you're on the bench, you have a set of different types of commands that are either there to power up, but one of them is you try to tag in to your opponent, to the game. Yeah, if they had a Maori character, it would be pretty sick. I cannot get. Let's see if I can get Victoria's eyes in a little brighter. Whoa. That's not good. I kind of smudged that white in. But yeah, so when you gave Ren the ability to chain off of any, I think it was like chain off of any strike, that suddenly is as amazing as we thought it would be. Right? Because now every strike that you throw that lands has chain on it, which makes it much easier to combo. Also, you if you do somehow run out of your deck, you actually are supposed to shuffle the whole thing back and start over. Yeah, so far some of my favorite characters are, I really like Victoria because she's super fast and she can shift through people, which is cool. Um, Cobalt is also super fast. And then I'm really looking forward to playing Candy. I think Candy has some pretty cool abilities too. Oh, we lost. There we go. Yeah, the game does get more explosive with the discovery of what we were doing wrong. I think tag team games can be very exciting too with that. All right. Yeah, this character basically just goes super fast. She goes super fast and then she runs over to different sides of the board and shoots fireballs at you. That's her playstyle. Let's give her some like really bright blue eyes. This might be too bright. It's like a Fremen from Dune. But Jason? What do you think? What do you think the average game time would be once you get the game? Like once you understand the mechanics? I'm thinking it's going to be about 30 minutes to play a game. And then your 2v2 may be a little bit longer than that. Probably because you're going to be discussing with your teammate. Don't tag in. No, fuck you, I'm coming in. Don't tag in. You got to put me and Jose on the same team so that we'll just argue the whole time. Stupid Jose, you're blowing the game. That's awesome. Yeah, I like the blue. Yeah, that's awesome. 15 minutes if you can really combo. I know, right? Maybe turn one, both characters. Just set up modes, and then they power up, and then turn four. They're just like just burning into each other. Somebody has I forget who one of the characters has a block that that they can burn out dice to just end someone's combo. Oh, a little too deep on that eye. There we go. Okay. Pretty happy with this improvement to Victoria, though. Whoops. Yeah, the low-cost card. Yeah. Because if you can land a low-cost opener and then combo off of that, you could do some pretty nuts, right? Because now all of your like light kicks and all those high count cards, you would chain those later into your combos. So if you have a relatively low-cost opener, that's kind of dope. There we go. You bait the opponent to spend the dice on. That's true. The other thing that I like is that, yeah, there's dice in this game, but the only time dice really play a huge factor is when you're really trying something risky, right? When you're really just pushing your luck, right? Because if you know the guy's rocking a very high energy pool, and then he's gonna, and you're going into your turn, and he knows you have a low energy pool, right? The only thing that you can risk is throw a high initiative move, and then just hope that he can't outroll you, right? Because he's gonna, and you were doing this in our game too. You're just like, oh, okay, well, I have a lot of energy in the pool. I'm just gonna throw all 4 dice. Pretty dope, man. All right. Man, I just cannot get. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe I just leave her face like that. Right? Maybe she just has a normal face. I don't know. We got to give her her green hair at least. Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, she does look interesting though. Like we were saying, right? You can't, if you knock a character down, you can't combo off them anymore. Except this character can do that, which is fairly impressive. Right, that's going to lead to pretty scary looking. Kind of want to do like purples and stuff on her. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I know she's supposed to be like, all kind of Day of the Dead type aesthetic, but I almost feel like she should have, right? She could be Joker, right? Just, even if it's just like a couple of patches of purple on her, just to kind of splash a little bit more color into this. I think that could be pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out where would I do the purple. Maybe the so if the jacket and the hat are black, then the jacket and the hat are black. Then you can do then I can do basically the corset here can be purple. Yeah, once you knock a character down, they're no longer a valid target. They they no longer on the hitbox chart. They no longer occupy any more space on that chart. So once you knock down a character, that's supposed to be it for them. All right. Yeah, let's do some purple on her. I think it would be fun. Purple or like the burgundy, like Warlord purple. Right? Should it just be like shyish purple, which is actual purple, which is kind of boring? I'm trying to think how that's gonna look. I think that purple is too bleh. I want more of like a red-ish purple. So let's do Volupus. Yeah, Volupus pink is always a nice little standby. Okay, and then I'll just come by after, and we'll get the. Yeah, I like that a lot already. Right, it's going to provide a nice little contrast to all of the black. The black and the skull bones, basically. She should have some color on her. I could have gone red too, but I really like this. I think this is going to look nice. And then, should the shorts be black? So probably this, and then probably the top part of this stocking here. Right? And these could be purple as well. Like that. So we're just going to take a little bit of liberty with some of these color schemes. Let's make them a little more interesting, right? Speaking of which, kind of want to use this as this color as well as eyeshadow for Aurelia. So let's do that. Okay. Yeah, I like that. A little bit of purple there. And then on Aurelia, I like that. Just a little bit of purple. Oops, that was a little much. I'm gonna fix that. A little much on that side. Oh. That's not so good. Maybe. Problem again, it's a problem with contrast paints is they're extremely unforgiving. I can't just correct for that. I have to paint over the whole that whole section. That's better. Well, there we go. There. Okay. So we go like that. We go like this. All right. So back to this. Let's do all of this, all of that stuff in black. Oh. Any questions, comments, threats? Oh, you know what I should do? Yeah. Before I go too far, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, let's get some skeleton horde down. You're tired? Yeah. Yeah, got a long week ahead of us here. Are you off tomorrow, Sean? Try to find some time for you if I can. Right? All right. See, she's got all this cool skeleton paraphernalia on her. That's just too awesome. Her outfit is too awesome, dude. You're off? Sweet. Well, I can check my calendar if you want to try to get a lunch game or something. And I can teach you this game if you want. I won't have any of these characters done, unfortunately, but I have the other 16 characters done. So plenty of stuff we could try. Just not this super cool looking one here. Yeah, hold on. Alexa, what's my schedule tomorrow? Okay. Okay. Oh, that thing. Okay. Is that a full hour? Is that meeting a full hour? Here, now I'm like looking at my work schedule. Hold on. Yeah, sure. Let's see how we're doing. It looks like that's a full hour? All right, who's in this? Okay, so it looks like, yeah, that meeting is set for a full hour, which means I would be done with my meeting around 11:30. So if you wanted to get in a game, if you wanted to try to get a game around, we'll call it 11:45, 12, that would work, and then I could play that. Yeah, and then, need to be done by around 1:30. It's probably that's where my schedule. That's what that's looking like. So yeah, let me know if you're interested. Dude, that's actually kind of dope with like white like that. That's so funny. All right. So now let's do. Let's put the black in. We'll put the black in. Yeah, I'll let you know how that's going, and then if it's not looking good, I'll let you know. But I'm hoping that meeting. I'm hoping that 10:30 meeting is I can wrap that one up pretty quick. Right? Honestly, that's just someone interested in what my department is doing who's really none of their business what my department is doing. That might be my answer. None of your business. End meeting. Okay, there we go. All right. I got important shit to do. I'll see you guys. All right. Yeah, this aesthetically, this is one of the coolest minis I think I've ever painted. There's just the detail is super good on it, and it's just the design is so fun. All right. Let me look at Wednesday. Wednesday may actually be a little bit tougher for me. Oh, did I close that already? Let's open it again. Wednesday. Actually, Wednesday is. Oh, well, I do have to totally be done by 1. So it's about the same. The window is about the same. It's about equally tight tomorrow or Wednesday, but they're both feasible. It's just a matter of whatever's easier for you. I think for me, Monday may be easier for me, but if you come back and say, well, Monday's not going to work, well, then we'll maybe try for Wednesday. All right. I got a toddler bugging me right now. No, son. I'm going to have to put him to bed pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is we'll just finish putting this black down. And then we'll just call it a night. But yeah, Way of the Fighter was pleasantly surprised. I think I think this could be a nice little kind of a slot game for us, right? We got a little bit of time, we got a little bit of space. Let's break this guy out. Whoa. You didn't need more shader. Yeah, the shaders are super nice. Oh, by the way, P3 paints, they're discontinuing at CQ. So they're going to put out the P3 paints at 50% off, I believe, starting tomorrow. So it's another good reason for you to come out if you want to pick up P3 paints. Now, they didn't have Armor Wash, which is the most important P3 paint. But they have Flesh Wash, which is pretty important if you use Flesh Wash. Okay. Whoa. Man, I keep messing that up. But yeah, it's a bummer that P3 is going away because I absolutely love their inks, as you guys know. And I use them all the time. So, that said, shaders aren't a terrible, they're not a terrible alternative, right? And they still have, you know, a good amount of shaders in the store. Ooh, there's going to be some cleanup here around these. That's just fun. This model is just fun. Does it suck painting these little garter straps? Yes, a little bit. But the design is awesome. So if it makes it look awesome, I'm going to give it a little more slack than I typically would. Plus I'm rushing a little bit because my kid needs me. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. I'll have to fix this. Alright. Whoa. Why are they getting rid of P3? I don't know. I think it's probably because it's just getting harder and harder to stock it. Who knows? P3, I guess I can ask, but maybe P3 is discontinuing their line. I know that their line it's not selling as well as they may have hoped. But it's a pain because, yeah, like you know, their inks are really good. They're really underrated. I tell every person I know that loves Nuln Oil. I'm like, yeah, if you love Nuln Oil, Armor Wash just basically kicks the crap out of Nuln Oil. So, yeah. So you can see how she's coming together, though. She's looking. That is a extremely cool looking mini. I'm gonna have to come back in, and there's a lot of little skull detail and stuff that I'm gonna need to pick out. I need to fix the skin around that area. In fact, it's probably dry enough for me to do a little bit of that right now. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna go. All right, have a good night. I'm gonna head out here in a couple seconds too. I'm just gonna let's just fix some of this bordering issue that I got. It's a lighter color. Oops. Hold on, buddy. We're coming. I know, we're coming. All right. Let me know if you guys have any final questions, comments, or threats while we look at wrapping up right now. Yeah, that is just an awesome mini. Right there, got a little carried away right there too. Okay, anything else? looking okay for now. Oh, there's a little spot down here that needs my attention. Son, do not turn my chair while I'm painting. Alright, so finish this up and then, yeah. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying Cassie so far. I think she's just such an awesome miniature. So, alright, so with that, I think we are going to draw our stream to a close here. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll finish these Way of the Fighter, and then I'll be on to painting some Star Wars Imperial Assault after that. So, alright guys, so that's going to do it for this stream. Want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.